everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I want to say a very big thank you to all of my subscribers. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, like my video and share my video. And if you are actually having any problem with regards sewing, you can always drop a comment down at the comment section. Just scroll down and then hit on the empty space and then drop a comment. I will be so fast to reply to you. If you actually find this video useful and helpful, please don't hesitate to hit on the like button, share the video and tell your friends about my channel. So actually today I'm actually going to be teaching you how to cut a peplum top. It's a princess dart peplum top. That's what I'm going to be teaching you how to cut tonight. Today a princess dart. It is not a breast cut. I'm using an Ankara fabric. You can actually use a normal plain fabric for such styles. You can wear it with a skirt or jeans or whatever. So I'm just making use of an Ankara. Most of this already made tops, these Turkish tops that you have, that's what I want to cut. Those Turkish peplum top. That's the style I actually want to cut, but I'm using an Ankara fabric. So you can go out there and just buy a normal fabric and then cut and follow this illustration and make it like I normally say in most of my videos. If you don't even have any idea regarding sewing, watch this video and I guarantee you go out there, buy a fabric. It's a challenge and you go ahead and cut and then you're good to go. So now let's go. The first thing you can see I folded my fabrics into two. I have two fabrics here. It's divided into two. This is the back piece and then this is the front piece. In peplum cut for beginners is usually divided into two. You have the mid part and then the full length. The peplum is always usually attached from most time from the belly button part. So that's where it is usually attached to it. So this part now, this is the upper part of my bodice. This is the upper part. So for this, the full length I'm actually going to be using for the upper part. Most time in peplum, when you're measuring, you measure the full length of the blouse. When you measure the full length of the blouse and then you measure where you actually want your peplum cut to be. So this is where I want my peplum cut to be. For this, the peplum cut, I actually want it to be on 15. So this is 15 inches. As you can see, I am leaving half an inch up here. I'm using it as my seam allowance for the top part. So this is actually 15 inches. You can see it here. And then I added 2 inches as my seam allowance for the down, which you'll be trimming off at the end of the day to fit, and you'll be stopping it here at 15. And then for this peplum blouse, the breast point, the underbust is actually 11 inches. The reason for why I'm adding this peplum, this underbust measurement is because I'm going to be, when I'm cutting the princess dart out of it, I'm going to be making use of this underpart. That is just the reason, that's the essence of this underbust measurement. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now, like I told you, this is the half length. So all I'll do is just for me to measure the shoulder. The shoulder that I'm going to be using, as I go along, I'll insert the measurements into it. The shoulder that I'm actually going to be using for this peplum blouse is actually 14 inches. 14 inches, when you divide into two for beginners, you have 7 inches. This is my 7 inches. And then I'll add 1 inch as my allowance, so this makes it 8 inches. Like I said, before I go on, let me tell you how to fold, to determine the fold of your fabric. To determine how you fold your fabric, you divide your bust into 4 and then add like 5 inches. Most times I normally like adding 5 inches. So for this, the bust is actually 32 inches. So when you divide 32 into 4, you have 8 inches. When you 8 inches, you now add 5 inches to it. So you see, this is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's how I folded my fabric. The first one I folded at 13, while the back one I added 1 inch allowance to it. What is the essence of the 1 inch allowance? This is the zipper part, because I'm going to be opening it. So this is the place that the zipper is going to be. So at the end of the day, everything boils back to the same. Then the bust that I'm going to be using, also, okay, like I said, the bust is 32. Then the tummy part this blouse. Actually, that's where the peplum is going to be, the cut is going to be. Most times I always like to make it firm. That's what actually gives it the fit. It's actually 27 inches, so that is negligible now, but I'll be as I go along, I'll add the measurement. You understand what I am doing. So that's how you fold your fabric, so you don't waste, you don't just fold. At the end of the day, maybe it will be too big or it will be too small. So that's how you determine how you fold your fabrics. So like I said, when you divide 14 into 2, you have 7 inches. I added 1 inch to it as my allowance. This is my seam allowance for the shoulder. And then from the shoulder line, I'll just take my tape like this and then place. This is my armhole. I'm going to be using 8 inches as my armhole. I'll use 8 inches like this, and then take my ruler. I'll just join it like this. I'll just connect the lines like this. I'll connect the lines like this. You can use a French curve if you don't have a curve to curve your armhole. If you don't have a curve, you can always improvise. You can always improvise. Just make a curve here like this, just a slant curve like this, and get it down. That's it. That's your armhole line. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is the bust. And the bust measurement, like I told you, I said is 32. When you divide into 4, you have 8 inches. You just take your tape, just come down below the armhole. You have 8 inches. This is my 8 inches. For the allowance that I'm actually going to be adding for this, I'm actually going to be adding 3.5 inch allowance. I normally like adding excess allowance, so I don't run into any problem at the end of the day. So I'll use 3.5. You can use 2, so it depends on you. So 3.5, I'll just mark it like this. And then for the down part, which is the tummy part, like I told you initially, I said it's actually 27 inches. 27. If you don't know how to do your calculation, you can always use your tape like this. You just divide your tape into 4. You measure 27, and then you divide your tape into 4. You get it accurately. This is what I have. So you just place like this down here. 6.8. You just mark it like this, and then you use those down part. I'm going to be using 3 inches. I'm not going to be using 3.5. I'll use 3 inches as my allowance for this down part. I'll just rule it like this and then connect my lines. You can actually make use of a ruler if you want to. That's if your hand is not really straight. You can make use of a rule and just rule it like this. So you can see this is the part, this is the blouse, this upper part of the blouse. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to insert the princess dart into it. The princess dart. So to insert my princess dart, initially I used 8 inches length. That's for my armhole. So I'll just take my tape like this. Half of 8 inches is actually 4 inches. So I'll just take it like this and mark 4 inches, which is the middle of 8 inches. I'll just mark 4 inches like this. And then from this 4 inches, I will use 1 inch like this. I'll just take 1 inch again like this. Out from the down, I'll take 1 inch like this. So this is the 1 inch from here, and then I'll just make a curve like this. And then for this upper part, now I'm going to be putting the darts like I told you. For the dart part, I'm going to be using 8 inches for the dart. I'm going to be using 8 inches for the dart. When you divide 8 into 2, you have 4 inches. So I'll just take my tape, my chalk like this, and then mark. I'll add half an inch to it for the allowance because I'm actually going to be trimming it off. So I'll add half an inch for the allowance. So I'll now have 4.5. I'll just mark 4.5 here. As I'm coming up, I'm marking my 4.5. So this is like standard. Then for the top part, for the top part, I'm actually going to be using 7 inches for the top. That's for this part. That's like the chest line. I'll use 7 inches. So this was my initial line that I marked out. This is my 7 inches. This is the extra 1 inch line. I've not touched it. It's there. I just indicated it. It's there. I've not touched it. So I'll use 7 inches for the top part. I'll use 7 inches. As I come down a bit to the chest, to the bust part, which is the down part of my armhole, I'll increase it to 5.5. I'll increase it to 5.5. So I'll connect the lines like this. I'll just connect the lines like this, and then from the under bust, you remember this under bust measurement I told you? The under bust measurement I'll still maintain my 4.5. So this is my 4.5. So this is my princess dart line. This is my princess dart line. So what is the essence of this 1 inch? This 1 inch allowance, I'm going to be trimming out this middle part from it. I'm going to be trimming it out. So I'm going to be trimming it out. So that is the essence. So from this from this armhole part, that 1 inch that I made, so I'm just going to be measuring maintaining the 1 inch down like this. I just maintain it. When I get to the under bust, I'll reduce it to half an inch. I'll reduce it to half an inch and just take it like this. What's the essence of this? For it to fit properly, I'll take it to half an inch from this under bust part, and then maintain it down to the down part, the half an inch. I'll just take it like this and then maintain it down like this. You can see this is it. So this middle piece, now I'm going to be cutting it out. So most of this already made that you see, that's how they actually do the darts. So that is why you see it fits perfectly. Even if it's not a breast cut, it actually fits perfectly well. So now I'm going to be cutting out, so you understand. I'll cut out the armhole first, and then cut out the side, and then this part I'm going to be cutting the back and the front together. I'm actually going to be cutting them together. For the dart, I'm cutting the back and the front. So I'll just take my tape like my scissors like this and cut. I just want you to see what I'm doing. I'll cut. When I get to this point, I'll just stop and then maintain from the half an inch again. I'll just cut it off like this. So just cut it off and then cut it off. This is your princess dart, your simple princess dart. This is how you cut your princess dart. That is not a bustier that they use for most of these Turkish tops. So the next thing I'm going to be cutting now is the neck part of this dress. I'm going to be cutting the neck. So I'll just take my tape like it's just a simple round neck. That's what I'm doing. I'll just take my tape like this and then just place like this. I'll be using 3 inches. So I'll measure my 3 inch like this, and then the depth of the neck, like I normally say, you can always measure and to know how deep you actually want the neck to be. So I'm going to be using 4 inches. I don't want it to be too deep. So I'll just take 4 inches like this and mark like this, and then just make a curve. You can make use of your French curve. You can make use of the simple way for you to get for beginners, for you to know how. You just take it like this. When you get to the 4 inch line, you mark it and make a square. Just make a straight square line like this. That's how to get a perfect round neck. You make a square and then you use your French curve and just make a slant curve like this. A slant curve like this on it. Then for the back, I actually do not want the back to be too deep. So I'll just maintain. You just take your chalk like this and maintain the line, the 3 inch line that you did. Maintain it to the back, and then you measure where you actually want the back measurement to be. So the back, I think I'm going to be leaving it at 2 inches. I'll just mark it like this, and then do my square line that I told you initially. I'll do my square line again, and then use my French curve like this, just to make a fine curve like this. And so I'll cut the back out first. I'll just cut out the back part like this. This is the back, and then I'll cut out the front part. So the next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be cutting my shoulder slant. What is the essence of shoulder slant? Shoulder slant enables your shoulder, the shoulder of your dress, not to be hanging. So that's the essence of the shoulder slant. So most times I normally use, you can actually use 1 inch. Here's my chalk. So you can actually use 1 inch, but for this I'm actually going to be using half an inch. So you just use half an inch from the shoulder, from the armhole line, half an inch like this. I just mark it like this, and then slant it. I'll just take my tape, my ruler, and then place it on the neckline like this, and then make a slant. Just slant it down. Just slant it down. Just slant it down like this. So that's the essence of the shoulder slant. I'll just slant it down. So this is it. This is the front part. This is the front part. then the back, you open up the back. You open up the back because it has a zipper, so you open it up. So I'm just going to be indicating so I'll know the wrong side of my fabric. I'll use just use my chalk like this to indicate so I'll know the wrong side. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now, this is the front. This is the front piece. And then that's the front piece. So the back part, I'll just keep it aside. So this is how you get your princess this is how you get your princess dart that is not a bustier princess dart. So the next thing I'm going to be cutting, I'll be cutting the peplum for the down part of this fabric. Like I told you initially, the upper part of the bodice is actually 15 inches. So the full length of the blouse is actually 24 inches. The full length is 24 inches. So 24 minus 15, you actually have 9 inches. So now the next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be cutting the peplum. So the peplum cut, like I told you, the upper part is actually 15 inches, and we are looking for the full length of the blouse is 24 inches. So we'll add 9 inches to it. When you minus 9 from 24, you actually have 15. So that's the 15 that is for the top part. So the peplum I'm going to be cutting, a 9 inches and peplum, but I'll add 2 inches to it to make it 11 inches. 1 inch to attach the upper part, and then 1 inch for the folding of the down part. That's actually what I'm going to be doing. And for this peplum pattern I'm going to be cutting, I'm going to be using the freehand method. I'm not going to be using the peplum formula, which is 6.28. I'm not going to be using it, so I'll be using the simple freehand method. So how I'll fold my fabric like this into 4. I'll just fold like this. I'll just teach you how to do this freehand cut, in case you don't know how to do it before, you know how to do it now. I'm not using the 6.28. So I'll just fold it like this. And you know that initially our cut, the peplum cut, when we measured the tummy part, it was 27 inches. So now what I'm going to be doing now, I'll make it 28 inches, 1 inch allowance. No, sorry, I'll make it 29 inches, 2 inch allowance, because of the 2 inch allowance that I'm using for the back, which is for the zipper. You can use 1, you can use 2. I think initially I actually used 1 inch for the zipper allowance, so I'm just going to be using 2 just to be safe. I'll use 2 inches. So I'll fold it now. So what I'm going to be doing now, so 29 inches. That's what I'm going to be doing. So when you divide 29 for this freehand, when you divide your 29, you divide it into 4. If you want to cut this pattern of peplum, divide 29 into 4. And what I have is 7.5. So what I'm going to be doing now, like I told you initially, I said the length is actually the length of my peplum is actually 7.5. So for me to get my 7.5, I'll just take my tape like this and then I'll measure 5 inch from the up part of my peplum, that's the middle part, 5 inch on this right hand side, and then 5 inch on this left hand side. So from this, I'm going to be putting my tape to see if I'll get my 7.5. So what I actually have here is 7.5. You can see I have my 7.5. For this kind of peplum, if you actually tried 5 inches and the thing did not work, you can, if it's too big, you can reduce it to 4. If it's too small, you can add it to 6. So that's just for this freehand peplum cut. So I already have, from the 5 inch, I got my 7.5 straight up. So the next thing I'm going to be checking now is the length. So I have 10 inches here. I actually said I wanted 11 inches. That's actually what I wanted. So that means I'll increase it a bit. I'll increase my fabric a bit. So I'll do what I did initially. I'll do it again. So I'll measure 5 inch from this top part, mark it like this, and then 5 inch from this side, mark again, and then make my curve and see if I will get my 7.5 inches again. So I actually got my 7.5 inches again, you can see. So from this 7.5 inch now, I'm going to be measuring my 11 inches. So I have 11 inches from this side. I'll just take my tape like this and maintain. I'll just bend it a bit like this and measure 11 inches. 11 inches. 11 inches. This is my 11 inches. Like I said, if this pattern is not good, if you don't understand, you can use the 6.28 Peplum radius measurement. You can use that. You can actually use that. But I'm just teaching this just in case. So the next video I'm going to be doing, I'll be using the 6.28 pattern to cut the peplum, so you understand that pattern, and then you take the one that suits you best. So this is 11 inches from the 7.5 inches line. This is 5 inches. So you can see my curve. This is my peplum curve, all fit out and perfectly perfect. I'll just take my scissors like this and then cut. And then keep it. Initially, this style that I'm cutting, I actually use 2 yards of fabric. I forgot to tell you from the beginning. I'm actually using 2 yards of this Ankara fabrics. That's what I did. I used 2 yards. So I'll just cut this part now. Most times I normally cut, don't cut from the actual line, just cut from the top part. Because if this cut that you're cutting now, this top part, this top radius part, if it's too big, that means the only solution that you have is for you to pleat the peplum. You have to pleat it to fit the waist. If it's too big, that's one good thing with peplum. You cannot really go wrong with the top part cut. The only part you can go wrong is the length. For this top part, if it's too big, the only solution is for you just pleat, add some little pleats on it, and your peplum will still be perfect. So you just cut. But if you don't want peplum that has a pleat, you have to cut it accurately. So just cut like this. As you can see my peplum is so beautiful. You can see. Most times I always like using this pattern of peplum to cut, because it always gives me a very beautiful flare. So you open from the side. The essence of the opening from the side is because of the zip. So you open from the side. So this is my peplum. So this is my peplum, and then this is my blouse. This is the back. This is the front part of my blouse. Okay, so you can see this is how you cut your princess blouse without a breast cut. So I have come to the end of this illustration. When you're sewing, when you take it to your machine, you want to actually start sewing. Most times I normally like start sewing from down. I actually start sewing from down. So you start sewing from the down part. Take it and sew from the down part. That's how you couple it. So you can see I've now come to the end of this illustration. I've come to the end of this illustration. You can see how beautiful it is already looking. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, like my video, share my video. Thank you so much for watching.